winner of the National Edward R. Murrow Award. This is KTUL, Tulsa's Channel 8 News at 6.
I want my baby back and I don't ever see him again.
A young man is dead and his cousin missing after police say a robbery takes a deadly turn at a fireworks stand. Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us. I'm Neely Jones. Mark has the night off. We now know the name of a person of interest in that robbery. This is 27-year-old Jack Ulrich, who deputies are currently trying to find. They say they're looking for him to get his side of what happened. His 15-year-old cousin Jake killed during the robbery. Channel 8's Amy Jensen spoke with Jake's mother, and tonight she's asking one simple question. Why? Amy?
Neely, there's a lot of questions in this case. Who had a gun? Who fired the first shot? Should 15-year-old Jake Ulrich have been killed yesterday? Jake's mother says no.
I think it's just crazy that somebody would shoot my baby over some damn firecrackers.
The case is still under investigation, but one thing is for certain. A 15-year-old boy is dead.
I just want my baby back. That's not going to happen. I will never speak to my baby again. I'll never see that smile.
Sheriff's deputies say Jake Ulrich and another person went to this fireworks stand, grabbed about $600 worth of rockets, and took off in their truck. The son of the stand's owner, Johnny Mize Jr., jumped in the bed of the suspect's truck. Soon after, shots erupted, and 15-year-old Jake Ulrich was dead. The suspected driver of the truck, Jack Ulrich, is now sought as a person of interest.
I want to know why he left my baby laying there. Why he did this. Why would he take him over there and do this?
Jacqueline Ulrich says her son was a good boy. She believes he was just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
I can honestly say I can't think of anything he did wrong.
But even though her son is accused as a suspect in this robbery, she believes the man who killed her son and the other person involved deserves to go to prison.
I want them both to see prison bars. Neither one of them deserve to be free. They took a precious life.
No charges have been filed at this point. Live in the Update Center, Amy Jensen, Tulsa's Channel 8.
Amy, thank you. OSBI now investigating a deadly officer-involved shooting in Sallisaw. Police found Jamie Husky at the McDonald's off Robert Kerr Boulevard. Husky wanted for questioning in a domestic violence case earlier today in Fort Smith, Arkansas. Officers were close to Husky when he fired a shot, and one of the officers fired their gun in response. The district attorney will determine if that shooting was justified. Maybe a long road ahead for a former Sapulpa elementary teacher who pleaded guilty today to drug and embezzlement charges. Our camera, the only one inside the Creek County Jail when Megan Sloan received her sentence. That's where Channel 8's Ethan Hutchin is live with the details. Ethan?
Yeah, nearly the 28-year-old accepting up to 10 years behind bars. Her appearance today drastically different from the woman we saw following her May arrest. Now her friends just hope her problem with drugs can end. It's almost hard to recognize the woman walking into the Creek County Jail today. Compared to her mugshot over 2 months later, Megan Sloan looks like a new person, and she has more time to keep changing. A Creek County judge saying her 10-year sentence can be reduced if she completes a program helping other women dealing with drugs. The 28-year-old was arrested after admitting to bringing drugs to school at Holmes Park Elementary back in May. It was reported she even stole field trip money for drugs. A friend of Sloan supporting her in court today, but not wanting to be identified, tells us Sloan is finally receiving the help she needs.
She was just kind of spaced out right there towards the end. Didn't want to be around anybody, and that wasn't her, because she was always people person, involved in everything.
And the DA's office tells us Sloan is now going to have to pay back that money stolen from the school district, and her teaching license has been suspended. Reporting live, Ethan Hutchins, Tulsa's Channel 8.
Ethan, thank you. We're told it's likely that Sloan will at least serve a year in prison before the option to take part in the women's program begins. The younger brother of Jeremy Lake testifying in court today in the case of former police officer Shannon Kepler. He talked about what happened in the moments leading up to his brother's death. He also told prosecutors that Kepler was the person who drove up to the house and got into a conversation with his daughter Lisa and Jeremy, and then fired the shots that killed Lake. That trial continues tomorrow morning. Speeding tickets, missing a court date, they can all come with a cost. And now Tulsa County is hoping to help some people get back on track. Starting today through the 14th, the county's working with anyone who hasn't paid any fees tied to a warrant. So you pay $150 up front and work with an administrator on a new payment plan for the rest you owe. And there's a couple of options for you to pay. You can either visit the courthouse or get online to check it all out. New at 6 tonight, a state senator is accused of assaulting an Uber driver in Oklahoma City. State Senator Bryce Marlatt is named as a suspect in an assault investigation involving a woman who works for Uber. Now, she told police she picked him up while she was driving him to a hotel. She says he began grabbing her forcefully and kissing her on the neck. The senator has not been arrested or formally charged as police continue investigating the allegations.
From the Oklahoma Ford Storm Center, your first warning forecast.
A couple of days and a few opportunities for some rain for the upcoming weekend.
Clint, thank you. A local congressman is drawing both support and criticism for running for re-election. Mark Wayne Mullen promised to only serve 3 terms, but this week he announced he's going for a 4th. Channel 8's Kim Jackson is live in our newsroom with more on what Mullen's constituents are saying. Kim?
Well, Neely, Mark Wayne Mullen is on the Energy and Health subcommittees, but he wants more time to do more. Still, some believe that he should go as promised. Congressman Mark Wayne Mullen drawing mixed reviews after announcing he'll campaign for a 4th term after promising he was done.
We understand that people are going to be upset, and we get that. We understand it. I'm not hiding from that because we did say we were going to serve 6 years, and it was out of true concern.
Now he says he has more concerns for Oklahomans and the American people as he released a video detailing his decision.
I can't say that I'm surprised. A lot of the things that he's done since he's taken office has varied a little bit. You know, he came in, he was going to be a guy of the working people. He was going to represent his district, and we just haven't really been seeing that. Democrat opponent Joshua Harris-Till saying the failed town halls and the unkept promise both hurt. Some voters in his district, including the town of Okmulgee, understand, and some don't.
If he made a promise, then, you know, that's what we need in America. People make promises and they say they're going to do things, then that's probably what needs to happen.
I think under the circumstances, he's a businessman, and right now the administration is helping businesses, and I think his background could help the American people.
Mullen says he asked himself if he could make a difference.
I've seen such a turnaround with the new administration, with President Trump, that when we came to the conclusion, the answer was yes. Yes, we can make a difference.
And Joshua Harris-Till told us that he is working with another candidate that will run against Mullen. Kim Jackson, Tulsa's Channel 8.
Kim, thank you. After starting the Summer League a perfect 2-0, OKC has hit a bit of a rough patch in Orlando.
I mean, a Summer League, so no one is really that up in arms about it. But they have dropped 2 straight games, the most recent coming this afternoon in a 21-point blowout loss to the Dallas Mavericks. OKC did have most of its regular Summer League players back, but obviously didn't make much of a difference. One positive from such a lopsided loss is that some players actually get playing time that wouldn't normally see the court.
The thing I always like about it is it gives the opportunity to other players to prove what they can do. It's not a good feeling as a coach when you have guys that come in and work hard every day, or good people that wanted an opportunity and deserve one that never get one. And when guys leave or guys rest, it allows other people to play, and that's a good thing.
All right, so here's the deal. There's one Summer League game remaining. We're just not quite sure when it is or who it's against. We do know this. They're calling it Championship Day at the Orlando Summer League, even though the Thunder won't be playing for the title. Tip time will either be at 7 a.m., 9 a.m., or 11 a.m., and they will not be playing the NBA logo. I'll promise you that.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Speeders in a North Tulsa neighborhood are causing concern for parents. We'll explain what they're doing in the hopes of keeping their kids safe. And
I didn't think I was good enough. But when I came here, they inspired me to actually show my talent.
A school empowering young women to develop their art turns 10 years old. We'll show you the impact that Tulsa Girls Art Schools had and their hopes for the future.
Tulsa's source for local news with Mark Bradshaw, Neely Jones. This is KTUL TV.
Welcome back. The people who live on 1 North Side Street are calling out speeders. Almost every home on the street has a sign telling them there are kids playing in the area. They feel their kids' lives are at stake. Channel 8's Charles Ely joins us live on that street tonight with a look at how they're handling this problem. Charles?
Yeah, hi, Neely. I'm at the corner of Greenwood and Queen, which is just a block north of Pine. The people who live on the block you see behind me are fed up with the speeding. They say if you want to come through here, slow down or find another way to get where you're going. This area is loaded with kids, and they should be able to cruise down the street on a scooter in the summer without any worries. But the people who live here say that's not the case. So they've lined their street with signs to slow people down. James Andrews has lived here for 23 years, and he feels a sense of affection and responsibility for the area's kids.
Most of them call me Pawpaw. Okay, I'm probably the oldest guy in the neighborhood anyway. But, you know, I've been here a long time, and it's just too fast.
Andrews worries about the mix of little ones and fast cars. He can hear them racing by 24 hours a day because of the noise they make when they hit the potholes in front of his home.
Speed bump would do well. That's a speed bump, but they still hit it. That's a speed bump, but they still hit it.
Andrews says he's for anything that slows down the traffic on his street. The neighbor who organized the sign display says there's a huge potential for a terrible accident. She wants drivers to know this area has a lot of kids at play.
You know, of course, children, if a ball goes in the street, sometimes their first response or reaction is to run in the street to get it. That could be a very unfortunate situation that I would hate to see happen. So, I mean, it's disturbing, it's heartbreaking.
Most of the traffic is from outside the immediate neighborhood. They hope people will pick up on the not too subtle message that they want to feel safe around their own homes.
This is a neighborhood. And what does neighborhood symbolize? It symbolizes community, family, and safety.
Now, she says she often waves at drivers to slow them down. Some even speed up when she waves. We've been seeing people come through, blasting through here in the last few minutes. The only time they really slow down is when they see our camera. Live near Pine and Greenwood, Charles Ely, Tulsa's Channel 8.
Charles, thank you. Those neighbors say the speeders sometimes include the drivers of Tulsa Transit and school buses. The Tulsa Girls Art School is reaching a major milestone. For 10 years now, they've helped young women pursue their art. Channel 8's Lauren Partain talked to some of the girls about what they love the most about the program and what changes they're looking forward to in the future.
Today's lesson:
grab this rod on the left side of my hand.
Learning how to make marbles or pendants. Jerica Clapp started in the Tulsa Girls Art School program 6 years ago. Since then, her imagination has come to life.
I used to just paint, and now I do like mixed media stuff.
Nyla Lavelle also became inspired by the program to take a chance.
I didn't used to want to do art because I didn't think I was good enough. But when I came here, they inspired me to actually show my talent, and that's just what I did.
The past 7 years may mesh together for her.
Oh, how long have I been coming here? Oh my gosh.
But it's become a second family to both of them.
Evolved so much with my art skills and making new friends here and just becoming culturally aware. It's a great program.
From nationwide field trips to helping the girls get into college, TGAS's executive director, Matt Moffitt, is adamant about being there for the students every step of the way.
We have them for 10 years, so we really get into every aspect of their life, and anything that they will need, we get involved in every part of that. The artwork is more of just a vehicle for their creativity, and what's really cool is to see what they're capable of.
He wants to do more. As they celebrate a decade of growth, their artsy, colorful, and one-of-a-kind building isn't keeping up. That's why they're raising money to make a move into a new one.
We need the space.
Starting their sophomore year in the fall, Lavelle and Clapp hope to be a part of the move before they graduate.
I don't want to prepare for it because then I'll be done with the program and then I'll be off to college, and I'm not ready for that.
Even after they're gone, they can't wait to see TGAS succeed in the years to come. Lauren Partain, Tulsa's Channel 8.
Right now, the school has 72 girls in its program, so it's reached capacity. If you'd like to help them find a new place to call home, just head to KTUL.com for a link to donate.
Now, from the Oklahoma Ford Storm Center, your first warning forecast. Now, breaking news coverage from Tulsa's Channel 8.
Sooner fans shocked today as Coach Bob Stoops says goodbye after 18 years leading the team. Good afternoon and thanks for joining us.
I'm Tyler Butler.
And I'm Neely Jones. Right now, we know Bob Stoops stepped down as head coach for the University of Oklahoma just hours ago. Stoops retires with a national championship and 10 Big 12 conference titles. The unexpected news comes with the former head coach saying the time is right for the change. So what's next? According to the university, offensive coordinator Lincoln Riley will be the new head coach at OU. A news conference is expected at 5:30, which we will stream live at KTUL.com And we'll have live reports for you at 5 and 6.
Tulsa police are looking for a robbery suspect who forced workers into a freezer. It happened early this morning at the McDonald's near 13th and Harvard. Police say the man got in through the drive-in window and then made 3 female workers go into the freezer. Officers shared the video with us today. They think the same suspect herded people into the freezer at a Kentucky Fried Chicken during a robbery last week. And it's kind of reminiscent of the 1992 Lee's Chicken quadruple murders.
This has been around for a long time, and you know, obviously Tulsa has a really tragic history with this particular type of robbery. It just seems to be the MO of this latest group, or latest people doing it.
Police say they are investigating several strings of similar robberies believed to be connected right now.
In national headlines, President Donald Trump nominating a new FBI director one day before the former one testifies before Congress. Trump announced Christopher Wray on Twitter. Wray previously served as Assistant Attorney General under President George W. Bush. Now the Senate decides if he makes the cut. And today in Ohio, Trump talking infrastructure as the Russia investigation takes center stage.
And back in D.C., lawmakers questioning top intelligence officials trying to find out more about the investigation. ABC's Stephanie Ramos has the latest from Washington.
The day before fired FBI Director James Comey testifies before the Senate Intelligence Committee, his opening remarks are released. In the explosive statement, Comey talks about his conversations with President Trump, about former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn and his communications with Russia. According to Comey, the president tells him, "I hope you can see your way to letting this go, to letting Flynn go." Comey recounts the January 27th dinner he had with the president, who he says told him, "I need loyalty. I expect loyalty." The FBI director says he tried to explain the importance of the Department of Justice independence from the White House.
And given the recent news about ongoing investigations.
On Capitol Hill today, the same committee had tough questions for the nation's top intelligence officials, all of them refusing to say whether or not President Trump had asked them to intervene in Comey's Russia investigation.
I have never been directed to do anything I believe to be illegal, immoral, unethical, or inappropriate.
Their responses frustrating both Republican and Democratic senators.
Let me ask you specifically, did the president, the reports that are out there, ask you in any way, shape or form to back off or downplay the Russia investigation?
I'm not going to discuss the specifics of conversations with the President of the United States, but I stand by the comment I just made to you, sir.
The Director of National Intelligence, Dan Coates, echoed the same.
I don't believe it's appropriate for me to address that in a public session.
In James Comey's prepared testimony, he also details the 3 times he told President Trump he was not the subject of an open counterintelligence case, meaning he was not personally under investigation at that time. In Washington, Stephanie Ramos, ABC News.
Now, from the Oklahoma Ford Storm Center, your first warning forecast.
Talk about a cool start for tomorrow, Ozone Alert Day 2, and also your weekend coming up here a little bit later.
Clint, thanks very much. At least 12 people are dead, 40 more injured in simultaneous attacks in Iran. One of those attacks at the country's parliament, the other at the shrine of the Ayatollah Khomeini. Gunmen, some dressed up as women, raided parliament while it was in session, opening fire before a suicide bomb went off. At Khomeini's tomb, a similar attack with gunfire and explosions. Now ISIS is claiming responsibility for the attacks.
Actually hitting inside of Iran, deep in Tehran, is extremely unusual. If there is one entity that ISIS seems to hate and oppose more than the United States, it's actually Iran.
Experts say this was a well-coordinated attack, and they're also calling it a huge wake-up call for the Iranian regime. And we now know more on that hammer attack in Paris just outside Notre Dame Cathedral. Surveillance video shows that the man armed with a hammer charged at an officer standing guard. He reportedly yelled, "This is for Syria." Within seconds, another officer shot and wounded the attacker as people on the plaza scattered. While lying on the ground, police say he shouted, "I am a soldier of the caliphate." Police found an Algerian identity card on him. The country's top intelligence officials testified about the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, or FISA. It's an important tool in the fight against terrorism.
Yeah, but it's getting pushback from privacy rights advocates. National correspondent Michelle Macaluso has more on the discussion to renew the law.
Top U.S. intelligence officials are urging Congress to reauthorize Section 702 of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, or FISA, a crucial national security tool that is helping prevent terrorist attacks.
And continues to produce significant intelligence that is vital to protect the nation against international terrorism, against cyber threats.
Section 702 allows the National Security Agency, or NSA, to track emails and phone calls of foreign nationals outside the United States who are planning to carry out terror attacks. It does not specifically target Americans.
In the nearly 10 years since Congress enacted the FAA, there have been no instances of intentional violations of Section 702.
But sometimes American citizens' communications are incidentally collected. DNI Coates believes it is impossible to estimate how many Americans have been swept up in intelligence gathering.
If I had unlimited staff to tackle this problem, we still do not believe it is possible to come up with an accurate, measurable result.
And that acknowledgement has privacy advocates concerned about protecting American civil liberties. The biggest critic, Oregon Democrat Senator Ron Wyden.
Security and liberty are not mutually exclusive. We can have both.
The Trump administration and most Republicans back the law's renewal, and it is receiving support from Democrats.
We do need to be sure that we're providing information that our government needs to protect us, but we need to do so in the context of a balance, and personal information and privacy is critical.
Director Coates said the U.S. was able to kill an ISIS leader because of Section 702. And on Tuesday, Republican Senator Tom Cotton introduced a bill that would make Section 702 permanent. On Capitol Hill, I'm Michelle Macaluso.
Congress has reauthorized the act under 2 administrations. The Trump administration now warning that the U.S. could leave the UN Human Rights Council. U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations Nikki Haley criticized the council in Geneva. Haley said the U.S. might withdraw if changes aren't made. She called out the council for admitting countries like Venezuela, Cuba, and Saudi Arabia. She also said they were among many of the world's worst human rights offenders. Switching gears, travel junkies, listen up.
An American airline offering round-trip flights as cheap as $100. We'll tell you which one's behind the sale and how long it lasts.
Welcome back. We're following breaking news out of Norman this afternoon. Sooner head coach Bob Stoops has unexpectedly retired. And this just in, quarterback Baker Mayfield tweeting, "Thank you for everything, coach. You turned a little boy's dreams into a reality. I will be forever grateful," end quote. Offensive coordinator Lincoln Riley will step up as head coach at OU. Stoops does plan to stay with the university, working as a special assistant to the athletics director. Today, the longtime coach releasing a statement on his decision for the change. Quote, "I feel the timing is perfect to hand over the reins. The program is in tremendous shape. We have outstanding players and coaches and are poised to make another run at a Big 12 and national championship. The coaching life is like a relay race, and I'm thankful for my turn and am confident as I pass the baton," end quote.
Changing gears now, in today's Consumer Watch, Southwest Airlines twice a year sale is back with many round-trip flights now below $100. That sale launched yesterday. The discounts are good for flights between August 22nd and December 13th. Now, there are certain exceptions to the deal here, like Friday, Saturday flights. Those aren't part of it. Select holidays either, but you better be quick. That sale is ending tomorrow night. Meanwhile, Sears is getting ready for another wave of store closings, and the retailer announced that it's closing 66 more Sears and Kmart stores. Between the two 17 Sears stores that will shut down and 49 Kmarts, one of those is the Kmart here in Tulsa near 21st and I-44. That location expected to close by September, along with a majority of the other stores. 6-year-old Edith Fuller is now the youngest person ever with a key to the city of Tulsa. Mayor G.T. Bynum proclaiming today is Edith Fuller Day. The homeschooler made it all the way to Washington, D.C., and the spelling bee spelling all of her words correctly, I might add. Bynum says education is such an important asset, and Fuller is a shining example of where it can take you.
And what she has done to put Tulsa on really the national map for her accomplishments as a great speller. And we wanted to recognize her achievement.
Hey, I need to have her on speed dial, let me just say. We'll hear from Edith about her time on the big stage and what her favorite word to spell is. That's coming up at 6 o'clock. Hey, pageant week in full swing at the Mabee Center for the Miss Oklahoma and Miss Oklahoma Outstanding Teen Pageant. 45 Miss and 35 teen contestants are competing for the crown and to represent the state at nationals and scholarship money. They'll be scored on everything from evening gown to talent and interview. Directors say they're seeing more contestants involved in communities. They say these are the kind of women that'll make changes and be inspirations to others. One of many reasons why they say it's more than just a beauty pageant.
There's so much misconception, and there's so much more to these young women that people really don't understand, and people really need to come and see and meet these young women so they can see exactly what this program is about.
Coming up at 5, we'll introduce you to a couple of contestants and talk about their excitement for the competition.
A Marvel superhero is getting his revenge while the classic Working Girl gets its own musical. And a look at what's next for Wonder Woman. David Daniel has all that in today's Hollywood Minute.
Interesting, there's no Thor toy in here.
Thor, played by Chris Hemsworth, wasn't in last year's smash hit Captain America: Civil War, so he brought the hammer down in this tongue-in-cheek video that went viral after he posted it to Instagram.
Oh, look at me, I'm Iron Man, and I'm just got hit over there, and look at me, I'm Captain America, and I got smashed over there like a little fly.
I have a head for business and a bod for sin.
Working Girl is headed for Broadway. The 1988 Melanie Griffith, Harrison Ford romantic comedy is being turned into a Broadway musical. And Cyndi Lauper, who won a Tony Award for the score to Kinky Boots, is set to write music and lyrics for this show. Now that Wonder Woman has conquered the bad guys and the box office, how about a sequel? Star Gal Gadot and director Patty Jenkins are signed on for a follow-up, and Jenkins tells Entertainment Weekly she'll move the action from Europe to the U.S. next time. And what about the fans clamoring for a cameo from Linda Carter, TV's Wonder Woman from the 70s? Jenkins told one fan on Twitter, "Oh, we tried, and we won't stop trying."
Now, as for the superheroes joining Thor in the next Marvel film, Captain America and friends aren't joining in on the action, but we are going to see Thor take on the Hulk, and Doctor Strange is also going to be a part of that movie, which that hits theaters this November.
Okay, you saw it. I
Wonder
haven't
Woman,
seen it yet.
Yeah.
And I want
good.
to see it.
It's good. You should check it out.
Now, from the Oklahoma Ford Storm Center, your first warning forecast.
And a front will near the area by next Wednesday, and that's the next opportunity for a few scattered showers and storm skies.
Clint, thank you. Now for a quick sneak peek at a story we're working on for Tulsa's Channel at 5. Mark Bradshaw live in the newsroom with a look. Hey, Mark.
Hi there, Neely. Tonight, quite a few families in Owasso have been forced from their homes. This after a fire rips through their apartment complex. It happened last night at the Brookwood Apartments near 86th Street North and Highway 169. Now, we talked to a lady who lives in the apartment complex who potentially saved the lives of some of her neighbors. Tonight at 5, hear her describe one of the scariest moments of her life, how she went as far as knocking down a door to make sure a neighbor got out safely. Also, we continue to get reaction to the resignation of OU coach Bob Stoops. Neely.
All right, Mark, thank you. Next here at 4, we'll have the story behind this shocking video.
It's of a woman being dragged along outside of a gas station. All right, investigators in Florida on the lookout for 2 suspects who tried to rob a woman.
Yeah, then dragged her alongside their car outside a gas station. Surveillance video shows a car pulling up beside the woman as she pumps gas. One of the men gets out and tries to take something from her car. The woman tries to confront him, and that's when police say he grabs her arm through the window, briefly dragging her along. I'm trying to watch it as they drove off.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to be alone in that ride.
No. Coming up, President Obama managed to fool us all for 8 years. We're going to tell you about the secret his wife spilled earlier today. So did you know former President Barack Obama actually wore the same tuxedo for 8 years? Michelle spilled the beans at Apple's Worldwide Developers Conference.
It's a good part of being a guy. We can kind of get away with that. Apparently, she spent hours getting ready for her events while he suited up in the same thing each time, and no one noticed. Michelle says he'd even poke fun of her because it only took him a whopping 10 minutes to get ready.
It's so unfair.
A little bit.
I mean, I'm just
How many
saying.
tuxedos do you need? You just need
That's
one.
true.
one.
That's very
We'd
true.
asked
If you've
John
got
Locke.
more than a few, it's kind of like, what are you doing?
I don't know. All right, weather is going to be perfect out there. Have you washed your car yet, Neely?
No,
your
because
car
you're
is
giving me
still
trouble.
dirty. All right, you got plenty of opportunities right there. Big warm up this weekend, and then next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, chances for some showers and storms.
I'll tell you what, it's out there. If you want to wash it.
Okay, dinner break, I'll do that for you.
We'll see you back here at 5 and 6.
Jeffany's up next.
It's time for everybody to demand that this stops and that justice is served.
A call for justice from the family of Terrence Crutcher as police promise a full investigation.
We will not cover anything up. That's not in our DNA.
And city leaders urge calm while the investigation is underway.
We don't want to see things that happen in other cities here in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Hi everyone, it began with a complaint about a car blocking traffic.
And ended with one man dead. Tonight we detail the killing of Terrence Crutcher after a Tulsa police officer shot and killed him when responding to that call. The Crutcher family says Terrence, seen here on your screen, was on his way home when his car stalled. Tonight his family's grieving. Tulsa police, the mayor, the district attorney, and the U.S. Department of Justice are looking into Friday's events. We begin our coverage with videos of that deadly shooting recorded by Tulsa police cameras. These videos are graphic, and we want to alert you to that in advance. Out of respect, we will freeze the pictures the moment police fire the deadly shot, and we will not show Terrence dying on the street. But you'll be able to hear everything. In this video from the police helicopter that you're about to see, Terrence Crutcher gets tased and then walks back toward his SUV with his hands up. The voice you'll hear is that of a Tulsa police officer inside the chopper.
This guy's still walking and following commands.
Time for taser, I think.
Got a feeling that's about to happen.
That looks like a bad dude, too, to be honest with you.
Which way are they facing? Police 1, they're facing westbound. I think he may have just been tasered.
Shots fired!
Ooh.
321, we have shots fired. We have one suspect down. We need him to here.
This next video is from a different angle on the ground, one of the officer's dash cams.
Pleasing your fans and always being their band. Do you find it really hard?
Which way are they facing?
Now?
They're facing westbound. I think he may have just been tasered.
Shots fired!
Now we have live team coverage from across the Tulsa metro area.
Yeah, we'll take a closer look at the many sides of this developing story, including the changes one organization says the police department needs to make. The information Tulsa police have released so far and reaction from Crutcher's family. But first, we begin with Channel 8's Charles Ely, who has more on the oversight that will be applied to this case. Chuck.
That's right, Mark. Throughout the day, I've been speaking with a number of city leaders. They're taking a personal interest in this case. It's a difficult situation that will test what this city is all about. The mayor is among those promising a determined effort to have justice.
This city will be transparent. This city will not cover up. This city will do exactly what is necessary to make certain that all rights are protected, but that justice shall be done.
The mayor is asking people to reserve judgment and give the system a chance to do the right thing. The U.S. Attorney for Northern Oklahoma echoes those thoughts. He says the Department of Justice will have a completely independent investigation.
The department would determine whether or not a federal civil rights violation occurred. The investigation will include a comprehensive review of the events surrounding the September 16th shooting that resulted in Mr. Crutcher's death.
Their investigation will not depend on the Tulsa police, but Danny Williams told me this morning they are getting good cooperation from the department. No one wants a repeat of the senseless violence in Ferguson, Missouri. With the lack of public information, talk on the street sparked trouble when the results of the investigation would later provide a very different story. An expert on crisis communication says Tulsa is being transparent and not repeating Ferguson's mistakes.
If they had just been forthright, if they had just provided the information that the community was demanding, they could have diffused that situation much differently. It did not need to rise to what it did at that time.
Now, it's clear Tulsa is a very different place than Ferguson, Missouri. All those involved with the investigation asked people to give the investigators a chance to do the right thing. They say this case will be handled to the letter of the law. Live in the Update Center, Charles Ely, Tulsa's Channel 8.
Chuck, thank you. The group We the People Oklahoma is calling for more change in the Tulsa Police Department. Channel 8's Burt Momo joins us live from there. Burt.
Mark, the press conference just about to wrap up now. The leader of the organization, Mark Lewis, saying that when he watched that video, he just sat there and cried, that it was that tough for him to watch, saying now is the time for action, not the time to talk. The most strongest words that he said was that the officer involved in this shooting who fired that fatal shot should be arrested and not on a, quote, paid vacation. Also speaking, former Tulsa Police Chief Drew Diamond saying community policing is something that he has been advocating for the past 2 decades. It's time to stop talking about it. It's time to start implementing it. Also here, State House Representative Regina Goodwin saying, let's look at the protocols and what was and was not followed. Reporting live, Burt Momo, Tulsa Channel 8.
Burt, thank you. As people begin to demonstrate tonight, city leaders are calling for peace, asking the people of Tulsa to help heal a hurting city. Tulsa police say they're committed to justice and are encouraging the Justice Department to be swift with its investigation. Channel 8's Ryan Brashler is live downtown with details. Ryan?
Tulsa Police Department is promising transparency. They say all the facts and information will eventually come out, but not immediately, and they're promising not to try to sweep anything under the rug. Police Chief Chuck Jordan says Crutcher did not have a gun on him or in his SUV when he was shot and killed Friday night. District Attorney Steve Kunzweiler is calling this a criminal investigation into the events leading to Crutcher's death. No one took any questions this afternoon, saying it would be wrong to comment on the facts of an ongoing investigation, but they did stress justice is their top priority. Kunzweiler is asking the community to understand that an investigation will take time, and patience is going to be a virtue as it runs its course.
We are a country of laws, and the rule of law needs to be adhered to. While many people may want to have an outcome within a hair's breadth, it's my responsibility to make sure that the facts fit the law.
Kunzweiler says he is working closely with the Department of Justice and the Tulsa Police Department to gather all the facts in this case. Chief Jordan also said that he hopes any demonstrations that may come in the next few days remain peaceful. Live downtown, Ryan Brashler, Tulsa's Channel 8.
Ryan, thank you. The family of Terrence Crutcher is calling for justice tonight in their time of grief. They say the shooting was unjustified. Today with their attorneys, they spoke from the Greenwood Cultural Center about the video of Terrence being shot. Channel 8's Kim Jackson live tonight there with their reaction. Kim.
Mark, the center is quiet now, but the family was here and spoke loud and clear earlier after viewing the videotape. And also one of their attorneys says he heard the officer call Crutcher a bad dude, and he says Crutcher was viewed as a threat. The twin sister of Terrence Crutcher joined with other family members. After viewing the video, family and attorneys say Terrence Crutcher was the one who needed help that night with his car in the middle of the road. Family says he was coming from class where he was pursuing music production, hoping to do a family album with his father, who is still waiting to view his son's body.
I'm so concerned about, not being able to anoint my son's body and pray over him and sing a little gospel song over him, because me and Terrence love to sing, and I haven't had a chance to do that, so I'm kind of not at peace right now.
And this family has seen a lot of tragedy. In 2008, 2 teenagers were involved in a drive-by shooting. And just 2 years ago, Crutcher, the man you just saw, lost his oldest son, and now they're dealing with this. Live in downtown Tulsa, Kim Jackson, Tulsa's Channel 8.
Kim, thank you. A group of demonstrators took a stand outside the Tulsa County Courthouse this morning. Their mission to raise awareness about the death of 40-year-old Terrence Crutcher. They're calling for the mistrust between officers and the community to stop, and for more training for officers on community-based policing and paying closer attention to issues before they become a bigger problem.
The only way we can get justice for Terrence is to work towards making sure this doesn't happen, not only in our community, but in all the other communities that are suffering from these type of things.
Demonstrators say they'll continue this movement throughout the week. Be sure to join us tonight at 6 for even more live coverage.
You can also find more by looking for any of these stories on our website, KTUL.com, including the entire uncut video of the shooting.
Now, from the Oklahoma Ford Storm Center, your first warning forecast.
When are we going to finally start feeling like fall? That's the big question. We'll have an answer coming up here a little bit later.
Clint, thank you. A man accused in the death of an 11-month-old toddler was in court today facing potential jurors. Brandon Norstead is accused of beating Emmy O'Rourke to death back in July. Today was the first day of jury selection. Norstead's attorney says this will prove to be a very difficult and emotional case.
Because people's freedom are on a balance, and so my job here is to do the best that I can to make sure that the rights of the accused and his constitutional rights are protected.
Jury selection is expected to go through tomorrow. Lizama says the trial should take about a week to wrap up.
Tonight, a suspect is in custody.
Linked to a series of explosions in New York and New Jersey. We'll bring you the latest in that investigation. And law enforcement is working to find a motive behind a stabbing that injured 9 people. We'll show you what they've found out so far. Investigators are looking into a case of suspected terrorism after a man went on a stabbing spree at a mall in Minnesota, injuring 9 people. Police killed him, and now the search for a motive is heating up, with ISIS already claiming responsibility for that attack. ABC's Lauren Lister has more.
This morning, President Obama saying the FBI is investigating the stabbing rampage at a Minnesota mall.
As a potential act of terrorism, we will direct the full resources of the federal government to make sure that the investigation goes forward aggressively.
9 people were stabbed Saturday when authorities say a knife-wielding assailant, 22-year-old Dahir Adan, dressed in a security guard's uniform and violently attacked.
It was absolute chaos.
He started striking one in the back of the head.
Police say he also referred to Allah during his spree.
There was at least one victim who was asked if they were Muslim.
After 5 minutes of terror, an off-duty police officer shooting and killing the suspect.
Yeah, he died in the mall.
That was the suspect's father confirming the news overnight, speaking through a translator. Also responding to the claim from ISIS that Adan was a soldier of the Islamic State, acting in response to calls to target the citizens.
Are you aware that ISIS is saying that he was a soldier?
Local Muslim leaders speaking out in reaction.
And please, let's spread love instead of hate. And I will say it again, ISIS does not represent us. It does not represent Islam.
President Obama also saying there is no intelligence at this point connecting the Minnesota stabbing to the weekend's bombings in New York and New Jersey. Lauren Lister, ABC News, Los Angeles.
A wanted suspect in the explosions in New York and New Jersey is now in custody. 28-year-old Ahmad Khan Rahami went into surgery after a shootout with police. 2 officers and Rahami were injured during the exchange. Investigators determined he was a suspect because of fingerprints and surveillance video from one of the sites. The police commissioner commending law enforcement for coming together to find him.
This is a pretty quick turnaround. And this happened 50 hours ago, and we have our suspect in custody. So I think it's a tremendous job by all involved. I think the alert system is very, very helpful to the police department and the FBI. In this and in other instances also, it gets everybody involved.
Right now, investigators say they have no evidence this was part of a larger group effort.
Now, from the Oklahoma Ford Storm Center, your first warning forecast.
Hot out there.
I know. I'm looking forward to the relief, though.
Yeah, me too.
Thank you.
All right.
An act of kindness has gone viral.
After a call center employee helped a customer, we're going to show you how she brightened one woman's day right after this. A Capital One employee's act of kindness going viral. Tanya got a call from Christina Grady. Grady was calling about her account, but apparently she'd just broken up with her fiance. Tanya could tell she needed all the help she could get, so she gave her 4,500 free miles and then sent her flowers. Grady later posted thanking Tanya for what she did. That post has since gone viral, as we mentioned, and been featured on Cosmo and BuzzFeed. Tanya says she's just glad that Grady is doing well. A little bit nice for no reason is always good.
Yeah,
it is.
We're going to need free miles and points and flowers after this hot week, right?
Maybe a trip to Alaska or something like
nice,
that to beat the heat. My goodness, look at the forecast for the next several days. Temperatures mid-90s for us, lower 90s by the end of the week. Not until next Tuesday will temperatures be cooler in the 70s.
We'll look towards Tuesday.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. ABC World News Tonight is up next.
We'll see you back here at 6. Good night.